Almost there. Almost there. Just one more hour. One more hour and I get to 72. 72 hours of fasting. And right here on the show, we're going to take a look at some of the things that you have asked for me to eat. I'm going to have you choose what I'm going to eat to break my fast. I've got a couple of things here. Some things I really like, which I've said that I'm not going to have to break a fast, but that's okay. And then someone dropped in the chat yesterday a couple of things that they want me to eat, so I have that here. And we're just going to see how it is. So after 72 hours, well, 71, right? So we'll break it a little bit before as we get into the show because I want to do that so we can see what my blood sugars are. But hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level, creating the life you've always wanted. And right now we're talking to adults with type 2 diabetes who want to reverse their diabetes. And that's what we're doing. If you are new to me, go ahead and put new in the comments because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. Let you know that we are excited. We're happy that you're here. If you have questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat, in the comments, and put a Q in front of it so that we will know that that is a question, and we'll get to that as we go through the episode. And then you know how we do. We've got some things that we're going to take a look at. I've got my glucose monitor that we'll take a look at here in just a minute. I've got my Libre report, which we will look at also and just kind of see. And I'm going to give you a sneak preview of the things that that I've got on my tray. So there's a couple of things right there. I've got a salad. I've got some jerk chicken wings. I've got some cheese. And then over on the side, you guys know my favorite thing. And I didn't take it out, but this is just some mixed nuts. So we'll take a look at that here in just a little while to see where we are. And yeah, have a good time. Welcome, whatever channel you're joining us from, whatever platform, I guess I should say, whether you are on Instagram, whether you are on LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube as we work to improve our health. So that's what we're talking about. That is dysregulated metabolism is the problem that we all face. And it is the number one driving force behind a lot of the chronic illnesses, chronic diseases that we have. That is diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, polycystic ovarian syndrome, fatty liver, and we can go on and on and on about those things. But that is it, dysregulated metabolism. And much of it has to do with the food that we eat. That's right. You've heard that phrase that food is medicine or food like medicine. Yep, that's right. So as we're working through this space, a question that we've had is how do we improve our metabolism? And one of the things that we're doing is using fasting as that one of those tools. We're also talking about the types of thing we eat. And so part of what you'll see is some of the things that I use to break my fast. And we'll talk about fasting as well and the benefits that we've had. This week, we've been focusing on how our community and how our relationships impact how we can fast, how we eat, and how we can go forward and be successful. There is a huge interplay between our relationships and our food choices. Let me pause. Huge interplay between relationship and food choices, the social part of our being. We are built for community. And when the community is dysfunctional, whether we are, we call ourselves loners, we're by ourselves, or our interpersonal relationships are not where they need to be, they're not fulfilling, that we don't have a community around us, then we turn to food as a way of buffering and a way of providing for us those things that we would normally get from the people in our circle. So once again, we eat, we buffer, we eat emotionally because of dysfunctional relationships. That ultimately, that food leads to disorder, dysregulated metabolism, and that leads to our chronic diseases. Do you see the pathway? And so really, Really, I want you to listen to me. Here's the pill. You want to hear? Get better relationships. Whoa, 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 whoa. Get better relationships. If we get better relationships, then that oxytocin, that connection hormone that comes out when there is bonding, oxytocin comes out. When oxytocin comes out, we feel safe, we feel protected, we feel calm. Cortisol level goes down. Cortisol level goes down, blood sugar goes down, insulin goes down, and all the metabolism improves. Who ever thought that I could treat diabetes by having a better relationship with my spouse, with my family, with my friends, on the job? But there it is. There is the pathway. All right. So if you are joining us for the first time, once a week, we do a fast. We do our main show on Mondays where we're walking through the path, Limitless Living, that says that we are doing anything that we can to set ourselves up for metabolic success, to reverse our diabetes, get off of medication. And then we come along with the other shows for the week, one of which you're joining us right now, and we are learning how to use the tools that we are putting into practice on how to reverse the diabetes. Fasting being one of those tools. And so here, I come along, I do a 72-hour fast usually. We're going to break it just a little early tonight because I'm going to eat, because I want you to see what happens to my blood sugars as I eat, as we go through the show. So I'm going to do that here quickly to get that out of the way, and then we can start watching the blood sugar. I see some community members out there. We're going to say hi in just a little bit. And actually, one of the community members is responsible for two of the choices that I have on my plate. And so you guys get to pick here in a minute. So let me go ahead. I'm going to put that up on the screen again. So what I have is I have some jerk chicken wings. I've got some salad, right? And I'm going to actually show you where those come from. So, yep, salad from a bag. That's right. American went down to Publix and picked this up, right? So it's got romaine lettuce, got some carrots, shredded carrots. I see some cabbage, some red cabbage. I see some beets in there. Actually, I think that's it. So no tomatoes, no cucumbers. Let's see. Oh, there it is. So it says iceberg lettuce, romaine lettuce, carrots, red cabbage, radishes. I said beets, but radishes. Okay, so that's what I've got. So from that, we get this bowl. The jerk wings are seasoned with my favorite jerk seasoning, right? Walker's Wood. Right, so that's it. You guys can pull that up. I have also some cheese, and this is a combination of shaved Parmesan. There it is, right there, and some chopped up slices of sharp cheddar. Right, so that's what's in this bowl. And then, what I've not opened yet, because this is the one that's going to probably cause me the most trouble, I've got some Planters mixed nuts, right, lightly salted. And for my dressing, so I'll leave this here so you guys can see. And so I'm going to either start with the salad or the wings or the cheese. So you guys get to pick. Which one do you want me to start with? As a matter of fact, you know what? I could put this cheese on the salad. And that way I could start that way. And then my favorite dressing is ranch. So that's what we're going to have. So if I do the salad, then I'll put the cheese on the salad, put some ranch on there. We'll get started with there. The wings, I'll probably just eat that by themselves. And the nuts, the mixed nuts, I'll just have some of that. So what do you want me to start with? So go ahead and drop it in the comments. And while you do that, let's go ahead and I'm going to pull up my blood sugar, and so we can see what that is. So we're starting out with, there you are. So blood sugar of 67, according to my This is my Freestyle Libre. And you'll see there for most of the day, blood sugars have been right below 70, right below 70. For the first part of the day, it was right above 70. If I look at my Dexcom, 80, and I'm gonna go ahead and trace back, and I think so that got up to about 106. Look at that. All right, so after 71 hours of fasting. Right, so there we are. So that right there, I think that was a toothpaste effect. You see how that popped up? Yeah, right in there. So we were down to 90 right this morning around 5 o'clock, and then I woke up, brushed my teeth, and look at that rise. Yeah. All right, so that's what the blood sugars are right now. We're going to go ahead and take a look at my monitors also. Let's get that out of the way. Let me just move this tray over. All right, so let's move that over, and then let's take a look at blood sugars. And I do have both the Contour and the Keto Mojo tonight. There you go. I have some strips in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab that out. We'll see what blood sugars are. So that's the Contour, and then the problematic Keto Mojo. Let's go ahead and grab a ketone strip and a blood sugar strip, and then off to the side here I have some new Lancets. I was very disturbed with the ones from last night because they were bent. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look there now. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in. And what do you think my ketones are going to be? Once again, I have not gotten a new ketone monitor, so we may still have that same issue. We're working on that to try to figure out what exactly is going on. And let's go ahead and let's do blood sugar first. I have the strip right here for the ketones, but let's do blood sugar first. All right. And I'm doing this so that we can go ahead and I can eat. And so here's my here's the Lancet, and you'll see this one is not bent like the ones from last night. And let's go ahead and ow. Ooh, that better be a good flow. Because that, as soon as I put that in, I was like, oh, okay, let's see. And wow. I was expecting a more brisk flow, but that's okay. That should be enough to get me started here on the Keto Mojo, and here is the Contour. So this is the blood sugar, and so 60 is what the Contour says. Let's go ahead and get this out. And while the Keto Mojo says 60, 64 for the Contour. And let's go ahead and get ketones. All right. And we'll see what that is. And hopefully that's not dysfunctional again. 3, 2, 1, and 0.1. Wow, look at that. Yeah, so definitely I've got to figure out what that's going on. So the blood sugar part seems to be working fine, but those ketones are not at all where I would expect them to be. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead. So that's what my blood sugars are, and that's where we're starting. So that's where we're starting with blood sugars here. And let's see. Did anybody put in what they wanted me to start eating with? Let's hop over and let's say hi to some folks, and then we'll come back and then we'll start eating. Let me do that first. And let's see. So Gion is there, and she says, "Hi, doctor." Hi, Gion. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome. She says, "Hi, Wood Gang." So wow, great job, doctor. Thank you. Yeah, a little over 71 hours now. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be 72 hours here soon. Gian says I'm excited that you're breaking the fast. Now I am excited too. But here's the thing, I'm not hungry, right? So it's interesting that I'm not hungry, but I'm gonna eat. Uh, Cornelia says, "Hi, doctor. Congrats on another successful fast. Your plate looks so good. Yes, it's gonna taste good too. I was smelling the chicken wings as I was warming them up, so I was like, wow." She said, "Wow, salad," which as I suggested yesterday. So yes, right, Gian, you suggested salad. You also suggested chicken, so I have both of those. Gianna saying, "Hi, Cornelia." Gianna says, "I'm excited. Me too. I'm so glad we're here." Yes, yes, yes. Glad you guys are here. And Cornelia guessed 2.3. And as you saw, Cornelia, that was not what we had. So let me get those out of the way. And let's get the plate back. So, my tray back. I'm still waiting for somebody to say what they want me to eat. So I think I'm just going to jump in and have some stuff. All right. So let's see. So here's my plate. So well, I was gonna say I'm not gonna have the nuts, but yeah, I'm not gonna have the nuts. I'm gonna take those out of the picture. I'm gonna leave those over there, and what we'll do is we will. I think I'm gonna choose between either the salad or the wings. What do you think? Salad or wings? Okay. I'm gonna do salad. Start with the salad because that's probably where I'm gonna get the biggest. That's where I probably will get the biggest rise in blood sugar. Right. The wings don't have a whole lot on them. I mean, there's the jerk seasoning, but I don't think that's gonna cause an issue. All right. So let's go ahead. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get some salad dressing. And get that on. Well, let me do this way so you can see. Let's get some salad dressing on there. And for those of you who are out there, right, look up what the serving size is for salad dressing. So it's not what we normally eat. I don't think anybody normally eats a serving of salad dressing. All right, and then let's go ahead and I'm gonna get some cheese. And this is just like I said, a combination of cheddar and shaved Parmesan. Cheddar and shaved Parmesan. Let's get that on there. And we get something to drink first. All right, and let's go ahead and start eating, y'all. So after 71, almost 71 and a half hours, first meal. Oh, this is going to taste so good. Y'all. All right, so I'm going to have a piece of cheese first. Just putting it in my mouth was amazing. I think I got some of the dressing on that piece. So I tasted the dressing as it was going in. So when it comes to cheese, I like all cheeses. I tend to like the firmer cheeses, or firmer cheese. But if I had to pick, I think it would be between cheddar and Parmesan. Recently, I did start eating some smoked Gouda. So that's good also. I did not like brie. Also, I didn't like it. Excuse me, because I like all cheese. But if I had to rank it, I would put brie near the bottom. That's just me. Maybe I've not had a good slice, a good piece. And you see there my blood sugar, 67. Yeah, so once again, we do not normally eat one serving size of dressing. No, we do not. I think Cornelia said two tablespoons. Now, there just a little while ago, I didn't put all the dressing that I would normally eat. Very good. Now let me put this back up on the screen, because if you look at, let me get the chicken out of the way. If you look at the contents, probably the thing that's going to cause the biggest spike in my blood sugar, those are the carrots. For me, at least. And that's why it's a good idea to track your blood sugars because you get to see what different foods do to your blood sugar. And I'm just doing this at the beginning because I want us after I eat this to see what happens to my blood sugar over the next little while. This is so good. And you know what I like, and a lot of people, you may find that this is you as well. A lot of people like, so sometimes the food that we eat is not all just about the taste, but mixed in there is the texture. Like right now, the crunchiness of this to me is great. Right? I like that. I mentioned to you on one of our shows earlier this week that when I'm drinking things, I like that burn in the back of your throat that you get from soda. So sometimes when I go to get something, like a soda or something to drink, it has nothing to do with the taste. Like the actual taste of it, it has to do with that sensation. And so likewise, when we're eating, sometimes what we're shooting for is the texture, the feel of the food that we're eating. Delicious. I almost want to put some more cheese in here. So right there, there's a radish. All right, it's a piece of a radish. That was not a sweet radish. It was a little bitter, actually. What do you think? A little bit more cheese? Am I allowed? Okay, why don't we do that? All my dressing is gone. Well, almost. So what is your food of choice? Not for breaking the fast, but just in general. If you're going to eat something, someone says, "Hey, whatever you want," what would be your thing? And not necessarily your dessert of choice. Just food in general. Because the dessert of choice is that's the thing, right? But what would be the food that you say, "Hey, make me some of that stuff right there"? Almost done. Delicious. Okay, coming to the end. Coming to the end. There it is. Yeah, I threw some stuff out there. So, Gion said, "I love bread and butter." My grandfather used to make bread. He made it on, was it Wednesday or Thursday? And I have some friends, when I was growing up, they used to come to the house for the bread. Not to come see me. They're like, "Dude, how come you always show up on Thursday?" How come you always show up on Thursday? Like, I don't know. It just happened to be the day when the bread's coming out. All right, so that's all done. And y'all, I think I'm gonna might as well just finish this up, right? So I mean, it's there. Don't want to waste it. So of the things that would cause me trouble, and let's go ahead, and I want you to see my let's look at my weight. Of the things that would cause me trouble on this screen right here, it would be cheese and this. Now notice I didn't even open this, because if I opened it right now, yeah, you get the idea. All right. So at the end of my eating, my blood sugar is 66. And let's go ahead and let's set, let me pull up my screen. I'm gonna set a couple of alarms. All right. Well, it's a couple of timers. So I want to set a timer for 1 hour, and then another timer for 2 hours. And let's see. So we want 1 hour, because the marker of what the food does is really what your blood sugar is at 2 hours, right? But 1 hour just so I can be mindful that it's coming up. And then we're going to do 2 hours. Right? So I've got those timers going. And they'll alarm as needed. Awesome. All right. So there you are, right? So that's what I ate. And we'll see what happens to those blood sugars. And you'll get to see it here partially in real time as we're going through the rest of the show. But I wanted to do that at the beginning so that we can watch those numbers as we move. All right. Okay. So there that is. And for you, one of the points that we'll make at the end of when we talk about our review of fasting is you also want to be able to monitor, as I just said, the blood sugars. You want to be able to see what different foods do to your body. The only way to do that is to watch. Sugar, let me say it a little different. So, diabetes is a insulin problem, but the thing that we could see readily is sugar. Sugar is what everybody talks about. It is the thing that's in the food. Like when you go to the grocery store, you can't make a decision about what to get by looking at insulin. But you can decide what to get by looking at sugar and carbs. And so they are surrogate for what is going to happen with insulin. So the higher the carbohydrate, the higher the carbohydrate in the food, the higher the sugar in the food, the higher the insulin levels will go, and therefore the higher, the more possibility of complications we have. So if you go to the grocery store and you're walking down the aisle, and on one side there's cookies and candy and cake, and on the other side there is salad. Oh no, that's not a fair composite because everybody's gonna pick salad as the healthy thing, right? So let's do something else. Let's do this. 2 types of cookies. So there's one cookie on one side that has 50 grams of carbs and 1 gram of sugar. And on the other side, 50 grams of carbs and 3 grams of sugar. Well, the one that has the 3 grams of sugar is probably, with taking away fiber, forgetting about all that stuff, the one with the 3 grams of sugar is probably going to cause a bigger spike in your blood sugar. And so your body's going to have to produce more insulin to combat that. Okay? All right. All right, let's hop over, and I see some folks commenting. So Cornelia had made a guess about my my ketones, and Cornelia says dressing side is 2 tablespoons. Yeah, we do not. She says I love the crunch and juiciness of salad with the cold creaminess of the. Oh yes. Cornelia, you're talking my language there, right? As you said that, as I read that. It was in my head. I described it right there. I was like, oh, let me go get some more salad. Gio says, I love bread and butter. We talked about that. Food of choice is deep dish supreme pizza. What? Now, Cornelia, here. Let me ask you this. Deep dish, is it New York style pizza or Chicago style pizza? Right? Because there is a difference. Tell me which one it is. Steve says, I have a limited diet due to my health issues. We are fond of Chuck I steak. Okay, yeah. There you go. All that's good. Because you say, I love bread, olive oil, and Italian herbs. Oh, very nice. Cornelia says, hey, Steve, that sounds good, too. Hi, Steve. Cornelia, we eat pizza once a year. Once a year? Oh, my goodness. You guys are very disciplined, Steve. Steve says, hello, Gian. Mellow mushroom or pizza eds. Okay. Like, do they have mellow mushroom in other places? I know when we were in Birmingham, we used to do that. And then there's here on, is there one still on Providence? Yeah, there was a place out there on Providence, mellow mushroom. And Cornelia says, wow, Steve, yes, mellow mushroom is really good. I haven't eaten it as much as I crave it. I, too, have to be mindful. That's right. And Gian says 2.5. Yep. All of that, So food of choice. The reason I ask about the food of choice is what happens often is people negate the food of choice, right? So I'll go in the office, or somebody will come to the office, or I'm just talking to somebody out, and I say, oh, what do you like to eat? And they're like, I like to eat salad. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't like to eat salad. That's not your food of choice. Now you may like salad, yeah, but that's not your go-to. But everybody wants to put that as their thing. I'm not your food police. In fact, when we own our food of choice, that gives us power. When we pretend it's not there, when we deny it, that takes the power away, because now we have to sneak around. Because if everybody around you thinks, oh, your food of choice is salad, then you can't ever eat mellow mushroom around them, because they're like, what are you doing? I thought you, right? So we're pretending to be one thing when we're something else. So own your food of choice. Now, do you need to eat it every day, single day, for every meal? No, right? That's a conversation to be had. But at first, we got to say, this is my food of choice. So for me, if I had to choose, like if somebody says to me right now, we will supply you with food, this type of food, whatever it is, your food of choice, for the rest of your life, lasagna. Lasagna. And I love lasagna when you make it and the edges are like really crispy. Right? People like the lasagna and it's all softy and mushy. I mean, I like the middle to be like that, but I need that end. Or I can bite it and crunch. Well, that has to be crunch, but it has to be, I don't want it like to dissolve in my mouth. No, that's not what I want. So that would be my thing, right? Give me some lasagna. And I have somebody in my house who makes like an amazing lasagna. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get some tomorrow. I mean, this week sometime. Okay, all right. Cornelia says, oh, so Steve says one on 4 Mile Post. Okay, and then Cornelia. Oh, let me go back over this way. And then Cornelia says, I was referring to Chicago style. I haven't had the opportunity to try New York style. Which one do you prefer? Well, I'm from Brooklyn, right? So I'm from Brooklyn, and I loved New York style pizza. Uno's is what we had. And then, y'all, I went to Chicago one summer, and then I went back the other summer, and I ate some pizza from Giordano's, and that thing was like off the chain. Yeah, it was good. It was good. So right now, if I had to like pick one, and one of our community members actually was in Chicago, and she brought me back some pizza, some deep dish pizza. Since the most recent one I've had is Giordano's, I think I would say that. We were in Chicago back, was it last year or year? Yeah, last year. Did we go to Chicago last year? Went to see the Bulls play. And so I had some deep style pizza while we were there. So, all right. Okay, so let's hop over and let's do our review. So fasting. Why are we fasting? We are fasting because fasting is an amazing way of hitting the 3 pillars of reversing diabetes. And the 3 pillars of reversing diabetes are: we decrease insulin, we suppress the appetite, and we reduce sugar. Decrease insulin, suppress appetite, reduce sugar. Those are the pillars of reversing diabetes. So whenever we're talking about reversing diabetes, that's it. Decrease insulin, suppress appetite, reduce sugar. And fasting does it because let's start with the 3rd pillar, right? Reducing sugar. When you don't eat, then you're not putting anything in. And if you're not putting anything in, by virtue of that, your sugar has gone down. You're reducing the amount of sugar that you're eating. If sugar goes down, then your body doesn't have to make that much insulin, or you don't have to take medication that produces insulin in your body, or you don't have to take a shot of insulin. So you're decreasing, number one, you're decreasing insulin. And because insulin is an appetite stimulator, when I've decreased the insulin, then my appetite goes down. So now I've hit the very first pillar, decreasing insulin. I've hit the second pillar, reducing appetite or suppressing appetite. And I hit the 3rd pillar, which is reducing sugar. Boom, there it is. That's one of the beauties of fasting. And listen to this, fasting is free. You don't have to go buy anything. Yeah, it's free. You don't have to join anything. Like, okay, I'm not gonna eat. Boom, there you. That's it, right there. Yeah. So the reason that we're fasting is because it is a powerful tool in being able to hit all of those pillars. Now, let me hasten to say that we have other tools that can do that. And that's why I keep saying fasting is a tool. Fasting is a tool. Fasting is something in your toolbox. It is not the end all and be all, because when we talk about balanced bites, remember, balanced bites also will hit all of those pillars. And balanced bites is our food, the mindset that we want to have as we're eating. Remember, every bite counts. We're fueling our body with things that are sending the right signals. So we're talking about whole foods, minimized processing, no added sugar, starchy, non-starchy vegetables, lean protein, healthy fats, something that's tasty and flavorful, and we are looking to make sure that we're having the right amount of the food. So portion control. So if we eat like that, then that food, right, that fits balanced bites, also decreases sugar. Because we decrease sugar, we're also decreasing insulin because we don't have that big spike because we're not eating, highly processed, high sugary content food. And because we have decreased insulin, our appetite goes down. So the food itself can promote reversing of the diabetes. Now we talk about the fasting, yes, but the food that you eat can also promote reversing your diabetes because it hits the 3 pillars as well. That's the beauty of this. These are the things that we put in place. These are the tools that we put in place to help us do what we need to do. Yeah? Awesome. All right. So let's hop over and let's take a look at I should say hop over and take a look, but let's go into our discussion. Our discussion is about fasting. So we are doing a review of fasting. And so we want to know how to fast successfully. That is the goal. How do we fast successfully? And when we're talking about how do we fast successfully, what we want to know is what are the best practices of fasting. And when I talk about fasting, I usually break it up into 3 different sections. That is, how do we prepare for the fast? How do we get through the fast successfully? And then, of course, how do we break the fast? And so really we want to talk about what are the things that you need to know as you are approaching fasting, or as you're thinking about your metabolism, or as you're thinking about the chronic diseases that you may have, right? What are the things that I need to know? And the first thing is to know is that there's not just one thing. Fasting is not just not eating. A lot of people think, oh, I'm not eating, so I'm fasting. Well, that is a big component of it, but there are other things to consider. There's a psychological, mental, emotional, social part of fasting that we often ignore, and that's what the preparation of fasting does. It sets us up for success. And then, of course, understanding how our body works, what's going on at different times during our fast is very important, because if we don't understand that, then something happens and that sets us up to not have a good fast. And then how we break the fast, very important, because during the breaking the fast, we can undo some of the things that we did while we were in fasting. So you see that they all are intertwined. They all work together, and doing well in fasting means doing well in each of the components. So why is fasting, what just happened there? So why is fasting so important, or why is preparation for fasting so important? Let me get rid of this. Yeah. So why is preparation for fasting so important? It's important because how you fast has direct implications on whether you are successful. Mm-hmm. How you fast has direct implications on whether you're successful. Because if we don't do a good job of fasting, if we don't do a good job of preparing, our brain is going to remember what it was like the last time we tried to fast. Do you know that? And it will say, yeah, no, we're not going to do that again because the last time we did this, that didn't go well. We were lightheaded, we were dizzy, we were sweaty, and yeah, no, let's not do it. That happens. And so sometimes you can have a bad experience, and it doesn't just affect this fast. It affects all the other fasts that are coming up behind if you're able to overcome it and fast, because sometimes people are not, because the experience was not what they anticipated. And so yes, so let's go ahead and talk about the three different phases. So preparing for the fast. So how do we need to prepare for the fast? Why do we need to prepare for the fast? Because ultimately, when we prepare for the fast, that sets us up for success. If we don't prepare, then that doesn't work well, and now we've got all kinds of issues that we've got to deal with. So fasting. So preparing for the fast. Give me just a second here. There we go. All right. So that's why it's important, because preparing for the fast ultimately determines how you get through the fast. And we prepare physically, mentally, and emotionally. These are 3 of the 8 domains of health that we've been kind of walking through. So we've been on our show talking about the different domains. When we did our limitless living inventory, we were able to pinpoint various things within our life that we need to address if we're going to be successful metabolically. Because remember, your emotions affect how you eat. Your relationships will affect how you eat and the choices that you make. Your emotions will keep you up late. When we're up late, we get tired. When we get tired, we eat to comfort. Our thought process, the way we interpret things. Remember, things that happen around us don't have power until we give them meaning. When somebody says something to you, the words that just came out of their mouth has no power over you until you say, well, those words mean to me that they don't like me. So what happens? You just assign meaning to those words. And because you assign meaning to them, then the feeling comes. The feeling creates an emotion, and the emotion is what drives the food. You see how all that is? So physically, mentally, and emotionally. So preparing in those spaces allows you to be successful. When you prepare, it allows you to determine some milestones. What are some of those things that you are going to celebrate? What are some of those things that you're going to look at and say, okay, this tells me that I am at a certain space, a certain place in my journey. All that becomes important. All that happens during the preparation. So when we prepare mentally, we set clear goals. Okay, this is where I'm going to be. This is how I'm going to see this. This is what it means. I'm going to be doing a 24-hour fast. And so at 8 hours, this is what is going to happen. At 12 hours, this is what's going to happen. At 24 hours, right? So you're setting out those milestones so that during the fast, when you see them, because if you have to create them during the fast and you're struggling, you're having a difficult time, then it doesn't work. Because your brain is like, well, let's get out of here. We don't have any, nothing's working well. You want to visualize. Imagine what it's like when you get to the end of that fast and what's going on in your body. I am improving my metabolism. My blood sugars are going down. My weight is improving. Right? And I showed you guys my weight there just a little while ago. My weight's improving. So when I'm fasting, right, if I'm getting into a space where, oh man, things may be a little challenging for me right now, you know what I'm thinking? Hey, if you keep this up, then that's another 1.2 pounds. By the way, did you know that? So when you fast, for each day that you fast, it's 0.6 to about 1.2 pounds that you lose. Yeah, when you fast. Now, we tell people that they should shoot for between half a pound to a pound a week. Half a pound to a pound a week. But when you're fasting, that fasting accelerates the weight loss. So visualize what's going to happen. Visualize what's happening. When I'm getting ready to go into a fast, I'm anticipating. I'm looking. I was like, man, I needed to do a good job going into that fast. So what's my weight? What's my BMI? I got it. And then I'm looking through, as I'm going through the fast, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm expecting to see. Then educate yourself. Determine which fast is right for you. We did some shows where we talked about the different types of fasts, the different protocols, 1 meal a day, 12 and 12, 16-8, 5 and 2, extended fast 24 hours, 72 hours, and so forth. We also did a show where we talked about the disease processes that different fasting methods have been shown to help. So which fast are you going to do? So find that, research it, look at our videos that we did. We haven't put out yet, but we have a little book called How to Fast Successfully. So we got to get that out into your hands. So go ahead, research, find the information, and then prepare yourself by giving your inner coach the tools that it needs to propel you forward in difficult times. So get some affirmations, write some things on your wall, on your mirror. Get something that you print out, put it in your journal. I am fasting for my health. Each day that I fast, my weight is improving. When I fast, I'm improving my insulin resistance. When I'm fasting, I am that much closer to reversing my diabetes. Get some stuff that tells you what's going on, that pushes you forward, that helps you in the space during the fast. That's what's going on when you're preparing mentally. And then nutritionally, you heard me say that I go into my fast preparing well. I don't just eat any and anything going into my fast. Because if I eat like 10 donuts, some ice cream, and drink some sweet tea, when I get into my fast, my body has to deal with that. And it stores it. So I'm going into a fast, let's assume that I'm going into a fast to lose weight. I'm going into fast to lose weight, but I put on 2-3 pounds going into the fast. Now I get into the fast and I lose 2-3 pounds. Guess what? It's all in the wash. So I go into my fast well with the things that I'm eating. As a matter of fact, I think this fast, I had a steak. Did I have a steak? Yeah, I had steak, and I had, wow, that was 3 days ago. Why don't I remember? I know I had steak. There was something else in there that I had. And I had that, our team meeting, I think we had, that's what we had. And so I ate that into the afternoon. So it was a sizable steak. So I had the steak, no carbs. So I came into the fast not with having a lot of insulin needed. And so my appetite wasn't stimulated. I didn't have the cravings. Right? So I set myself up for success in the fast by what I did before the fast. So the things that you eat, carbohydrates will cause your blood sugars to go up. When you have a high blood sugar, cortisol comes out. Not cortisol, but insulin comes out. When insulin comes out, it causes you to crave food. It causes you to crave sweets. It actually causes you also to put on weight. Yep. So leading up to the fast, you want to make sure that you're decreasing the amount of carbs that you're taking in. You want to increase your healthy fats and your protein. That's important because that helps you to stay fuller longer during those first hours. Those first postprandial hours are what they're called. And then you want to gradually reduce your eating window. So if you're going to fast whatever the number of hours, don't start at that number, right? So gradually work your way up 2 hours and 3 hours and 4 hours and 5 hours and 6 hours up to whatever the hours are that you're going to fast. And then hydration is very important, so make sure that you are hydrated. Last week, you'll recall that I was feeling lightheaded, sweaty, dizzy, all of those things because I did not do a good job of hydrating. This week I'm doing a good job. I'm drinking like mad. Got it right here. All right, so make sure you're getting getting good hydration in. And then you want to also make sure that you are preparing physically. So if you are going to fast, that's not the time to be doing lots of strenuous activity. Moving, right? Moving from one house to another. That's not the time for doing that. If you are working out and you do fasting workouts, you can do that. Otherwise, we advise that you decrease the intensity of your workout during the fast, because that sets you up for the best possibility of success when you do that, okay? And then you also want to prepare your environment. Make sure that you are cleaning your environment out. That's why this stuff right here has got to go. Now, it's not open, right? And I'm going to try not to open it, but it can't stay. At least it can't stay for long, right? I may have a few, but clean out your environment. There is no physiologic reason for snacking. That's why I try not to. Well, let me back up. I keep saying I try or tend. Right. That's why I don't buy the nuts and bring it in the house anymore, because there's no reason for snacking. And the only reason I'm getting it is for snacking. It's not like I'm using that as a meal. It's for a snack. And there's no reason for snacking, so it doesn't need to be here. So make sure that you're cleaning your environment out so that you have the best possibility of success. And so some takeaways from preparing: you want to make sure that you understand that preparation is key. You want to prepare mentally, because that sets the tone for everything else. You want to get good rest, because if you're not rested, you're going to feel lightheaded, sweaty, dizzy, palpitations, all the things that we talked about before. You want to eat nutrient-dense foods, so not calorie-dense, so not like a whole lot of candy bars, cookies, candies, cakes, highly processed, highly sugar food. And then you want to get into community. We've been talking about the social aspect, the social health, the domain, the relationships. Very important in fasting, because fasting communities will help us to be successful. And so that's how we prepare. And then we get through the fast, and getting through the fast, we want to understand what are the things that are going on in our body. So we typically break that up into 24-hour periods. We're going to spend some time going through this 24-hour period, this first 24-hour period, a little bit more finely, so that you can get an idea of what's happening in your body. But the first part is really the postprandial phase. So when people talk about I'm fasting, those first 6 hours after you eat is the postprandial period. Your body's breaking down the food, it's absorbing the nutrients, it's sending some stuff off to storage. All that's going on because the body's just now getting the food. Insulin levels are going to be high, because typically when we eat food, we eat carbs, and so carbs are there and insulin comes up because the blood sugar is elevated. Sugar is going to be high. Glucagon is going to be low, because remember, glucagon is the opposite of insulin. When sugar is high, insulin is high. When sugar is low, insulin is low, and glucagon is going up. So that's the postprandial period. That is very important, because during this period, the things that you eat have a direct impact on how the body works. So if you came in eating a whole bunch of cookies, well, during the postprandial period, guess what's going to happen? Your blood sugar is going to be super high. You're going to need a lot of insulin to bring the blood sugar down. And during that time, you're going to be craving so much because the insulin levels were high. And that has everything to do, not with the fasting itself, but now that has to do with what you did coming into the fast. So that's the postprandial period. And then the early fasting stage is the next 6 hours, so 6 to 12 hours. This is the early fasting stage. And this is the space, this is the time when the body has taken the food, it's broken it down, it's absorbed it. Insulin level is starting to go down because blood sugars are now going down as well, because it's sequestering all the carbs and sugar and all that stuff in all the tissues. So insulin levels having to go down, and glucagon is now starting to come out. And gluconeogenesis is happening. Sorry, glycogenolysis, is happening. This is the breaking down, because the body took some food and it sent it to liver. And now it's needing it back, so it's saying, hey, liver, give me some of the stuff I just sent to you. And it's now taking that and using it up. So here is an interesting point that you want to understand. And that is that the body does not go to your fat stores. It does not get to the fat stores until the stuff in your blood is gone, the circulating sugar, until the stuff in your liver is gone, right? That glycogen. And that takes about 24 hours, depending on the food that you're eating, depending on the food that you ate when you came into the fast. Okay? Right? So that is paramount that you understand. That it does not get to fat until what's in the liver goes away, and it doesn't get to what's in the liver until it's used up what's in the blood. So when you first eat, the food that you first eat, some of it is going to go to work your brain and your liver and your lung. But if you eat food and the body says, oh, I got enough energy for all these things, then all of that gets put to the liver. And then if the liver gets full, then it sends it to the muscles and the fat cells. That's why people put on weight. Because there's food coming in or energy coming in excess to what the body needs right now to work. And if I have excess, what do I do with it? I store it. Okay, so that's the next 6 hours. And so now 12 to 18 hours, this is transitioning to using fat. So the fat stores are there, the glycogen is starting to deplete, and the body's saying, hey, I need to find energy somewhere else. And so now it goes and it finds some energy over in the fat cells. And so we're going now to transition. We're now going like we're a hybrid car, and we've been using gas all the time, and now we're switching over to using the battery. Beautiful, beautiful. And during this period, if you're not well rested, sometimes people will feel that as a drop in your energy. That's why I said being well rested helps during the fast, because you don't feel that as pronouncedly. But the body is now going into what's called autophagy at this beginning. That's the cellular cleanup process that we go through, where the body is getting broken, damaged, unused cells, and it is repairing those and bringing them back to us in a better form, better shape, so that they can help with the body. This is where people begin to see benefits with those neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, where we see improvement in neuropathy. This is where our inflammation goes down. This is where we jumpstart our immunity or supercharge our immunity. All of that happens as autophagy is kicking in. Benefits of fasting. And then when we get to the next 12 hours, ketosis is in full force. Ketosis is beginning. So we said that 24 hours, right at 24 hours, is when the glycogen is starting to go. Glycogen is gone. For most people, unless you came into the fast with a bunch of carbs, then this may take longer. It takes longer to get into ketosis, takes longer for the glycogen to go away, takes longer for your body to start accessing the fat cells to burn calories for weight loss. So all of that process happens, and a lot of that is going on pre-fasting. This is preparing for the fast. What you did out there has a direct influence on what's going on here metabolically. And then you want to make sure that you're hydrated, because these enzymes that are working, that are converting from glycogen to glucose, and from fat to glycerol and triglycerides, those enzymes need energy or need fluid. And if you are dehydrated, then you are impairing the body's ability to do the very thing that you're asking it to do. Okay? So ketosis is in this place, and so ketone levels are going up. We have mental clarity. People say they feel, I don't want to use the word euphoric, but they feel great during this time. Because we have a clean source of energy, that is the ketones that are coming in. It's constant. It is not fluctuating like sugar does. Because remember, glucose is very volatile. It comes in, it goes up, it comes down, it goes up, it goes down. But when your body starts to burn ketones, using ketones as energy, it is a clean, consistent source. And we feel great. When the body makes ketones, beta hydroxybutyrate is the one that the brain likes. So now we feel clear. Our mind is clear. Our thought processes are very ordered. People are like, man, I can do, right? My brain is supercharged right now. And that happens because we have gone into ketosis. So we prepare for the fast. We understand what's going on in our bodies when we're fasting. And then some keys here also, you want to make sure you're rested, that you're hydrated, that you're doing all the things that you need to do to be successful. Right? All the things that we talked about. And then how do we break the fast? To prepare for the fast, we get through the fast and we break the fast. And you saw me break the fast here with the food that I was using. And I'm looking at one of those, that chicken wing that's over there, by the way. I need to get it off the desk. Okay. So how do we break the fast? And breaking the fast is very important because the way we break the fast ultimately will dictate whether we maintain the success that we had in the fast. And so here are some quick tips. Number one, monitor your blood sugar. I said we're going to come back to that. Yes, go out to the store, find a monitor. It does not have to be a continuous glucose monitor, although I recommend them. There are some over-the-counter options. You don't need a prescription. But find some way of seeing what a particular food does to your body. It will be very instructive. And then you get to make some intelligent decisions about what to do based on what the blood sugars are. Number two, watch your portions. Portions. Often it's not that we eat the wrong thing, it's that we eat too much of the right thing. When I go to the restaurant, sometimes they give me a plate. As a matter of fact, can I be honest? Yeah. Let me be honest. So here's my thing. Sometimes, y'all, I get mad because I'll go to a restaurant and I'll look at the plate and they'll give me like something like that big. I'm like, are you kidding me? But we've gotten used to eating large portions so that when people give us a portion that is appropriate, we're like, I'm not, right? We go through that process. But the portions that we eat are entirely too large. So we're gonna make sure that you're getting eating the right portions. Then you want to eat slowly. It takes about 20 minutes for the signal from your stomach to the brain to connect. To say I'm full. And if I'm not careful, I end up eating 2-3 times more than I should before the signal ever gets there. So eat slowly. And then avoid sugary, processed, high sugary foods like we've been talking about. Things that you want to incorporate into your eating. Make sure you're hydrated. Make sure that you are getting some healthy fats and lean protein. Protein and fat will help your body maintain satiety. That is, you're not hungry. It'll help you feel like you're not hungry. It'll help deal with any of the carbohydrates that we ate earlier on as we were preparing for coming into the fast. So things like eggs, tofu, tempeh, for those of you who are vegan. All of that is important. Make sure you have some healthy fats in there. Avocados, nuts. See, hey, there's nuts. That's the reason why I can eat nuts, right? So chia seeds are great with fiber. They also have good omega-3. And then make sure that you are hydrating. Did I say it enough? Make sure you're hydrating. So things like broths are good. So beef broth, vegetable broth. Last week I broke my fast with broth here on the show. Didn't do that this week. We did some other things. And then here are some quick recommendations, some considerations. When you break the fast, you want to choose foods that help you maintain stable blood sugar levels, that are or has nutritional value, that have low glycemic index. And when we say low glycemic index, we're talking about 50 or less. That's tasty, appropriate portion size, healthy fats, lean protein, and make sure you're hydrated. You want to make sure that you're doing that. And when you do that, that sets you up for success. That is how you get through a fast. By preparing for the fast, by getting through the fast, understanding what's going on in your body when you are fasting and what the different protocols will do for you. And then breaking the fast properly. Preparing for the fast, getting through the fast, and then breaking the fast. Awesome. All right. So let's hop over and let's see what's going on with, let's see, where's my alarm? Where's my timer? All right, so here's where my timers are. So I got 17 minutes left on that first one. But let's go ahead and I'm gonna hop over and see what my blood sugar is. There we go. 73. So we started at 67, I think. Started 67, and here we are, 73. We got about 17 minutes to go until it's an hour, and then we'll of course check it again later. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my report for my Dexcom Clarity so that you can see what that is, what's been going on with my blood sugar. And while I pull that up, let's hop over and see what's going on in our community. All right, so Cornelia said I was referring to Chicago pizza. We said that. Gion says, I want to try some, Cornelia. Batty Decaf, say, hey, how are you? All right, David King, hey, what's going on, man? Champion Kindred, thanks for coming through. Thanks for being here. And then Gion says, or Cornelia says, yes, Gian, we had it at Uno's Pizza in Chicago. Okay. I want to try the New York style now. Steve says, love my continuous monitor. It is a great teacher, a great teaching tool for me to learn what foods to avoid. Yep. Very, very, very important. All right. And so here on the screen, you'll see this is my glucose report from my Dexcom Clarity. And you'll see my average blood sugar over the last 2 weeks has been 102. I'm in range 92% of the time. That range being anywhere from 70 to 180. If I were to get an A1C, my A1C would approximate 5.8. So I can't call it an A1C, but it will look close to that. Let's take a look at blood sugars over the course of the last several days. And so here we are right at, actually, there we go. Right at 72 hours now, a little over 72 hours. And so that's where we were when we broke our fast. We're 79. And look at, if I scroll back through, right, you'll see we were in the low 100s the whole time for today. If I go back 24 hours, that would be at 48 hours. You see we were in the 80s, 90s, low 100s. This was where I had to change my Dexcom because it ended. So I got a new one on. So that's 48 hours. Going backwards to 24 hours, we were 98, right? And you'll see here, this, because I usually do one meal a day. And so I ate right in here, and that showed up as elevated blood sugar going up to, I think it went up to 180, was the highest, and then started coming back down. So let's go ahead, let's walk through that a little bit together. As we were talking about the different periods. So here I ate, and let's assume that ended at 9 o'clock, right? Because that's what we're calling 0 hours. So from 9 at night to 3 o'clock the next morning would be my postprandial period. That's that period that we talked about where the body is now just breaking down the food. It's absorbing the carbs that were in my food, because look at my blood sugar. So we started out here at 118 at almost 9 o'clock. And then an hour later, we're 141. So 118 to 141. And we usually say if your blood sugar is within 40 points of where you started, then you did a good job. Right? So we're still okay there because it was not 40 points. But look at this. It climbed higher and higher. So now we're at 158. So that's 50 points higher. And then we got up as high as 180. So in this postprandial period, the body's breaking down the sugar, breaking down the food, and my blood sugar, the sugar in my blood is rising as the body's absorbing those carbs. Right? Up to this point. So that gives me from like I said, the postprandial period from 9 a.m. or 9 at night to 3 o'clock the next morning. So that's 6 hours. And then if I go from 3 o'clock in the morning to 9 a.m. again, that gives me my 12 hours, so 6 to 12. And this is the early fasting phase as we talked about, right? So here it is. And you see those blood sugars are down. This right here, this spike, is toothpaste. That's toothpaste right there. So that puts us into the early fasting phase. And then the next 6 hours from 9 to 3 o'clock again is we're transitioning. So we're starting to see the carbohydrates, the glycogen go away. Right? So the body is now saying, give me back some of the stuff that I had. And you'll see there, because my blood sugar, the sugar that's in my blood that's floating around, not the stuff in the liver, not the stuff in the fat cells, not the stuff in the muscle, but the sugar in my blood is starting to drop. So from the next 6 hours, 9 to 3 o'clock, notice that the blood sugars are going down, 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 down. And it gets to a point here where it actually stabilizes a little bit. So look at these numbers, right? So we're dropping. So we went up postprandial, early fasting, and then now the blood sugars are dropping, and then it becomes kind of stable. So we're at 108, 108, 109, 110, and that goes on from 3 o'clock to, I'm assuming, the next morning. Yep. Right? So 3 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So the next 12 hours. And that number kind of stays for most of the day until we get to that 24-hour period. Right? And that's where we ended our discussion, but 24 hours. But let's take a look and see what goes on beyond 24 hours. Right? So now the blood sugar is still going down. Now the body, the amount of the carbohydrates that are in the liver are gone. Right? Or pretty near gone. So here's the question that a lot of people ask. If that's the case, why does the blood sugar not keep dropping? And it doesn't drop again until we get out here almost to 48 hours. Well, where's that sugar coming from? Well, remember, when the body burns fat, it breaks fat down into triglycerides, and triglycerides has two components. There's the tri part, right? That's the free fatty acids. And then it has glycerol, triglycerides. And so the tri part, that's the fat that's going to break down, that turns into ketones. But the glycerol part, the body can turn that into sugar. So even though you're not eating sugar, the fat cells that you're burning because you want to lose weight, the fat cells that you're burning because you want insulin sensitivity, fat cells that you're burning because you're improving your metabolism, those can actually also cause sugar in the body. And so you'll see here that as my blood sugar was dropping, we spent some time, I mean, not a whole lot of time below 70, but it was lower. Look at that down here. And then it came back up into the lower 90s. I think it got up to 107 or something. Yeah, 107. And then started dropping again as we continued into the fast. So that's just an illustration by the graph about the things that we talked about and the different components of blood sugar that's going on in the fast. Because I know I described it with words and we talked about it, but here's a perfect example of what happens, what's going on. And when you are monitoring your blood sugars, you get to see that also. And you can see what's going on in your body when that's happening. One of the reasons I love to do the food and then come back and look is because when I'm fasting, whatever I see as a result of whatever blood sugar I see can't have anything to do with the food that I ate yesterday or the day before, right? It has to do with the food that I just ate. And so that's a good one. And you see we went from a 67 up to a 74, and we are 8 minutes away from the 1 hour mark. Awesome. Okay. All right. So everything that you are hearing, everything that you're seeing, everything that we do on the channel is based on a very important idea that there are 3 things that help us in our trek. And this is our triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. We educate with the shows that we're doing right now. We empower with the tools that we learn, fasting, balanced bites, how to create a menu, all those types of things. And we encourage with the community that you're a part of. All of that sits on that bedrock. And if we do a good job of each of those, then we are setting ourselves up for the best possibility of success. When you show up, make sure that you are joining the challenges. Let us know where you are, how you're doing, what's going on in your life. Are you getting good blood sugars? Are you losing weight? Did they take you off of some medication? There are over 1 billion people on the planet, and our community, which is what we're dealing with over this last week, the community, the social part of our lives, the relationships have a direct impact on how we behave, the choices we make when it comes to food, when it comes to rest, when it comes to other buffering behavior. And you can be a voice for change in your environment. Always excited to be here. We will be back, y'all, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock for Video from the Vault. On Sunday morning, This Week in Review. And then on Monday, we are back here for Dwain Woode MD Live as we continue walking through our journey. You can make choices. You have unlimited potential. You can live a limitless life. Doesn't matter what's happened back there, the choices that we all made. But you can do it. And you can set yourself up for success. I love being in this space. I'm glad that you are here with me, that you took time to join me. And I look forward to seeing you around the space, in the social space. If you've not joined us before in our community, make sure you do that. There's a join button somewhere on your screen down there. Hit that and become a part of this group, this amazing group that we are building and that we are growing. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And we are living a limitless life. And limitless living says we are not allowing anything from outside or inside us to prevent us from doing what we need to do to be successful. We're breaking free from the boundaries, from those constraints, and we are presenting our best self, our best health, and our best plans for our life. Good night, everybody. We'll see you at our next episode.